issues which are under investigation, which I wouldn't want to disclose in this meeting. But once the investigations are concluded, then this will be made known. But to confirm that all issues relating to financial transactions in this country, the Financial Intelligence Authority is notified and participates with the other law enforcement agencies of government to establish the criminality, if any, in this kind of transactions. Chair, I think those are the issues.
Yes.
Which were
Thank you, Mr. Wandera. Thank you so much. Let's give a chance to Governor Bank of Uganda respond.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honorable members of the joint committees. I will ask the General Counsel to answer the question on the vicarious liability, and then I'll address the rest of the questions. So, Dorothy, very briefly.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members. With your permission, Chair, I recognize Honorable Nsibambi, who taught me company law. So,
good.
Yeah, Chair, we recognize the comment as fair. We need to clarify that what we are concerned about is the fact that the statute automatically makes the directors liable and the head of the institution without giving them a chance to explain themselves. So most international best practice on governance requires directors to be found liable where they have committed where they have personally been involved in the act that is being found to be criminal. So what we are saying is it should not be automatic, but it should follow already laid down rules which the Financial Institutions Act and the Financial Institutions Corporate Governance laws provide for. So where they are found personally liable or for active involvement in the prohibited activity, then there is no problem with finding them liable. Thank you.
Thank you. The issue of vicarious liability has been put to rest. So, Governor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, Chair, I'll start with the question asked by Honorable Fox-Odoi, that the first oil is going to sort out our problems, so we shouldn't be worried about the balance of payments. Honorable Fox-Odoi, let me just give you the history of this financing of this oil. The development of the upstream and the downstream has largely been undertaken through loans. If you look at the growth of debt in Uganda, it's partly to develop that infrastructure. Now, the debt repayment that is associated with, currently we are having huge amounts of debt repayment, partly, made possible by the loans. Take, for example, those oil roads and what have you, right? That's all borrowed money. So we are currently paying about $2 billion per annum, and we are going to continue for the next 4 or 5 years, paying that that $2 billion per annum. And then if you look at the private sector, the likes of the Sinuk, Total, and what have you, they have invested money here, right? This money is either borrowed as debt or equity. Now, if this debt, they need to begin repaying that debt in their capacity as private individuals. So whatever money that they will get from the oil, okay, their portion, they'll use some of it to pay debt. If they make profits, they have to pay dividends to the shareholders, if it's equity. Now, most of that money is going to be paid out for debt and not coming back. So, that first oil is not sufficient to handle our problems the way it is. And besides, you have the tenfold growth. Even without the tenfold growth, this oil will not bail us out significantly, given the outflows that are associated with it. Now, with the tenfold growth, like I told you, we need FDA of about 51 billion per annum to sustain that thing there. So, and if you do value addition and what have you, there's import content required for value addition. Right? You cannot do 100% value addition. You have to import some things to add in order to increase value on our national products. You are talking of the iron ore in Kabale. You need to import some of that stuff, equipment, right, to add value to that thing there. So all these monies, there are outflows that are linked with it. So the first oil will not be able to be a substitute if this bill is to be enacted. Okay. Chair, Honorable Katuntu raises a very important point, and I entirely agree with him. We shouldn't be here interacting with you. This should have been done at a much earlier stage. It is really unfortunate that we're here doing this, so I agree with you. And that partly answers what Honorable Oduro also mentioned, whether we had any interaction with the executives. The answer is no, we didn't have any interaction with the executives. Now, Honorable Oduro, also you raised the issue about, well, I'm not talking about the competence, I'm talking about the regulatory fragmentation, right? Because if the Ministry of Internal Affairs is going to have a say on what we're going to payments, but I did not even tell you a bigger picture. The mandate of Bank of Uganda is to promote price stability and foster a sound financial system. Now, what is the impact of this bill if it's passed in the way it is on price stability? Because of the depreciation of the currency, that is an intended consequence of this bill, we are likely to have a depreciated currency, and the pass-through of imported items into the domestic prices is going to raise prices significantly. So our inflation is going to increase via the depreciated exchange rate. So it means that we should either tighten monetary policy further if we have got to contain inflation, or we allow inflation to go beyond the 5% if we don't want to raise interest rates. So that's what we have to couple with. This inflation of 3% we have been enjoying is likely to be compromised, all right, through the currency depreciation. And also it has implications on the financial stability of the country. Because if you look at our financial markets, there's what we call the swap market, there's what we call all these correspondent transactions, all the things that deal with the foreigners who are financing the thing here. They are creating stability in this market. If you look at, for example, the recent index by the
Okay.
Maybe I'm getting hungry. Okay, I was saying it also has implications on the financial stability of the country. Because if you look at the inflows that are coming through the financial account of the balance of payments, once this dry up, it means that the liquidity conditions in the banking sector are also going to be affected. So, and if they're going to be affected and the banks have extended credits, long-term credit, maybe to their customers and what have you, and they cannot easily get liquidity to fund, the demand conditions in the economy, then it means that you are going to have financial instability. And also in terms of the regulatory requirements, if there's need to provide, in case you made losses, non-performing loans, and you are supposed to provide for those losses, and given all these provisions, it will be difficult for you to replenish, whatever's capital has been eroded because of the loss that you have gotten, and that increases the chances of financial instability in the economy. And then also in the private sector, there is what we call the foreign exchange swaps. The amount of transactions taking place there on a daily basis is about anywhere between $100 to $200 million, largely explaining why our currency is partly stable. We have moved demand from spot into the swap markets. And these swap markets trade between $100 to $200 million per day, largely funded by offshore players. Once that dries up, instability is likely to come. So the